Hi, this is Teddy, and today you're listening to Pasha Baker from Florida on Two Broads Talking Politics. Make sure to always wear a mask.
Are you listening?
Hey everyone, this is Kelly with Two Broads Talking Politics, and I am on today with Pasha Baker, who is running for the House District 28 in Florida. So a very flippable district in a very flippable state. So hi, Pasha.
Good evening, Kelly. How are you?
I'm great. I am excited to talk to you today. So let's start with just background about you. Tell me a little bit about your biography and why you're running for the State House.
Sure. My name is Pasha Baker. I'm the Democratic nominee for House District 28 here in the state of Florida. My family and I have been in the Seminole County area for over 3 generations. My grandfather was one of the first state Black contractors. My mother actually is one of the teachers that integrated Lake Mary Elementary right around the corner from me as a teacher. So we have made progress here, but not enough. I think in this climate, it's time that we have to really lead with change. It's what made me want to run for House District 28 and to slap up and just run, period. Because we haven't had pure representation. And I'm a firm believer that government needs to look like the people that it governs. Here in Seminole County, throughout the state of Florida, and even the country, it really doesn't reflect that. So to reflect the ideals and principles that the majority of the county has, and to also put into policy and legislature that moves the state and our county forward and the citizens of District 28 forward. Because a lot of the steps that have been taken have been at the expense of citizens and my constituents and my fellow neighbors, as well as putting into process laws that are not the will of the people. And that's big into government right now. We see it on a national level. We see it wherever you are and the people that are listening to this. The government hasn't done the will of the people. And people exercise their vote for that. However, they did something completely opposite. So that's really the main reason why I got into politics. My background, like I said, I'm a couple of generations here in the Seminole County area, as well as I am from a business background. I graduated from the University of South Florida and then went on to work at JP Morgan Chase and Verizon. And then from there, started my own businesses. So that is my background, Kelly. And thank you for having me today. We're happy to join you from the warm, very, very warm state of Florida.
It is really cold in Chicago right now, so that sounds nice.
Really? It's over 100 degrees this afternoon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, a little bit different there. So talk to me then about Seminole County, about this district. So this is a district that was really close in 2018.
That's right.
The Democrat just lost by a couple percentage points.
Mm-hmm.
And the Orlando Sentinel has endorsed you now. But this is also a place where Trump just had a rally. So what does this district
and the
look
start
like?
of the Black Lives Matter movement, because you remember in 2014 we had Trayvon Martin. So it was a lot of dynamics there. So the district is actually 51% women. That means we have more women voters than men. However, in its 107-year county history in Seminole County, we have never had a woman in any of the legislative seats that represent Seminole County. So there are 3 legislative seats. There's going to be House District 28 that covers the northeastern part of Seminole County. House District 29, that is by Tracy Kagan, that is running for that seat. That's in House District 29, which is the northwestern part of the county. And then you have Senate District 9 that covers all of Seminole County. In those 3 positions, even though women in Seminole County outnumber men voters, there has never been a woman in any one of those It was a very historic race and a historic year, a year that we feel change is in the air, but also where we feel change and progress is made because I would be the first Black ever to represent Seminole County in any legislative capacity. So there are a lot of barriers to be broken. So you got the first woman and first women in legislature, also the first Black in the county. So a lot of things to be happy about that we're shattering those ceilings. However, there are a lot of things because it's 2020 at the end of the day, and we're still staying first.
Yeah, I think Kamala Harris always says that her mom said, you may be the first, but you better not be the last.
That's right. That's right. That is a good quote. You got to pass it on.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk some about the issues that you're running on. So I know that Florida has been hit just so hard by COVID. There for a while, the peak was just, I was watching it in horror, watching those numbers go up. Mm-hmm. And even though it's come down from the peak, it's still a lot of cases a day. And the governor just doesn't seem to want to do anything, wants to stand in the way of making the pandemic better. So what does that look like? And what are some things that the people of your district really need right now?
Well, a couple of things. The state of Florida has more Obamacare and Affordable Care Act enrollees than anywhere else in the country. However, our state did not accept Medicaid and to fully expand that. So it leaves our most vulnerable a little over 800,000+ people uninsured. And we send back those federal funds. So that's one. With dealing with COVID-19 here in the state and here within the district has been very challenging because we have a governor that has went against science, but also went against, being, we want to say common sense, being a Southern. And I think you probably heard as well, common sense is not all that common these days. However, when we see things coming, and this is where we get into common sense. The state of Florida has been dealing with hurricanes since the beginning of time, since they were even recorded. So there is no reason why we should not be more well prepared than anyone to deal with any type of disaster, being that we go through these several times a year. Also, with COVID-19, we did see it coming. We saw it pass from China to Europe to New York and then spread throughout the country. And that's where we get into, we have to use a sound and logical reasoning. There's no reason why 15,000+ Floridians had to die. This could have been managed much better at a federal and a state level, as well as with, we have a higher senior population than most places as well. And we have to protect our most vulnerable. And we have a lot of multi-generation families because we still have a state that's based on tourism. But as well, Florida is it's the Sunshine State. We have a lot of agriculture. And a lot of the people that work in the agriculture business live in multi-generational homes, where it's the grandmother, the mother and the father and the children. And so all of the house would get COVID. So those are things that we could prevent, and those are the things that are most pressing. We have an unemployment system where millions have not seen one dime from our system, that it was set up to fail. That gives you only $250 per week, which no one in this country could live off of. And it only goes to about 10, 12 weeks is the maximum, but we need to expand those weeks so that people could accurately look for a job, because we know in this economy, it's going to take you longer. And people always want to say, you got to change your skill sets and you got to do this and do that. Well, it takes time to change those skill sets, but it also takes time to get into what you were obviously doing so well before in that job, in that career that you love. We want people to be productive. We want people to enjoy their life here in Florida. And that's one of the things that we can do to help those that are working too hard to get on their feet. that have had setbacks due to COVID is to get that unemployment system running, but also be compassionate toward how many weeks it takes to get a job that that is paying them a decent wage or a living wage, and how many weeks it takes for them to get back into the field that they previously were in, as well as the amount of money that is paid out each week. So a couple of things that we can do is, one, expand Medicaid and Medicare from the state of Florida. That would also build back our economy even better, because you insure 800,000 plus people. We have to provide jobs for those, so people on the other side could insure them and protect them and make sure they're healthy. So that creates quite a few jobs within the state of Florida as well, and brings in billions to our economy. Second, we got to rebuild our unemployment system and make sure that it works, not for the employer, but for the employee. A lot of times we're looking at business where it doesn't work for both sides. And that's one of the reasons I've always liked algebra, Kelly. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So if you're fighting for the employer, we need to fight just as hard for the employee and give him the same benefits and compensation that we give the employer, because that's been left out in that equation, and it's meant to have a trickle down effect, but nothing's trickled down. So that's two things. The third thing we're facing here is environment here in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. You know, state of Florida, we're a swamp. You're surrounded by 3 bodies of water. We've had a very, very active hurricane season where they actually ran out of hurricane names. And I believe we're on Zeta as far as names. So we're almost at the end of the group. We ran through the hurricane names. We ran through almost the Greek names. And I'm not sure if there's a process, if you go any further with naming. This will be the first time. So that's a very, very active hurricane season, as well as you see the change around the country, where we have had all these hurricanes and this torrential rain, but you look at the other side of the country, they're struggling for a drop of water in California right now. So we got the environment as well going on, whereas we're actually flooding out here in the state of Florida, meaning because of all of the development that has happened, that we do not have proper drain or stormwater management to properly filter out that water. So what happens is the houses between and on the streets and the sidewalks become miniature lakes, and people cannot leave their homes because it's flooded with just 2 hours of rain. Remember it during Hurricane Katrina. They always knew it was a problem because the levees and the lakes and the rivers flowed, whereas if a lot of rain, the lake would lock up and it would prevent the cities and streets flooding. That was the purpose of that levee. Here in Florida, we do not have levees. So during a hurricane, we have the potential loss of lives and livelihoods. That's what I'm trying to prevent at a state level.
So to get stuff done in the state, it would certainly help if there were more Democrats in the state legislature. And one of those important things moving forward is going to be a redistricting, which happens, of course, based on the 2020 census, which just ended yesterday as we're speaking. So what does that process look like in Florida? And I know you've been endorsed by the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. Mm-hmm. What do we need to do? How many Democrats do we need to make sure are in the state legislature in Florida to make sure that the maps are really drawn in a fair way?
The biggest thing would be for redistricting. Florida and the rest of the country is gerrymandered, and it's gerrymandered one-sided. The lines aren't drawn fairly. We know that. We've known that for some time. It's been decades since that has been done properly. So in the Florida State House, I believe we are about 11 or 12 seats to flip. In the Florida Senate, closer, it's about 4 seats to flip. I believe with the enthusiasm that we are seeing across the state of Florida, with over 1 million ballots already cast, I believe there's an opportunity like they did in Virginia several years ago, where both houses would flip. The House and the Senate would flip for redistricting, or be considerably closer than what it is today. And you would have people that will reach and work across the aisle because it's nearly even. There wouldn't be one side or control another side or what have you. It wouldn't be such a deficit. You would have where we would be nearly even. So if you would like to work with me to get a bill passed, and I would like to work with you to get my bill passed, and I want to work with you to be fair on redistricting. Redistricting here in the state of Florida has gerrymandered people of color and women the most. And that's where we lost a lot of our power, because they split those dynamic groups up where they wouldn't control or couldn't voice their vote in power. But if we put them together, like how they are, then that would guarantee that we would have fair elections, but the people's will would be done. We haven't done the people's will. And the people's will hasn't really been done across the country either.
So getting you elected, getting voters out for you will help your district, obviously, will help the whole state of Florida. And the more people we can get out to vote in general in Florida, the more likely it is that Biden and Harris win Florida and win the country. So this is super important, most important race in the country.
Well, Seminole County, yeah, we are, the reason why I was late is because Dr. Jill Biden was here. And so, like I said before, Seminole County has more women voters than men throughout the entire county. And it is so critical. If Seminole County goes blue, the state of Florida goes blue. That's how critical these races are. And that's what it's really coming down to. And we all know the I-4 corridor is always where we have a lot of visits from presidential nominees and presidents. But Orlando and Orange County has always been a very blue stronghold. We know at the bottom of the state, you're in Miami, at the southern tip, that is a Democratic stronghold. However, all of the different counties, such as the villages, your largest senior population in the country, has always been historically red. In Seminole County, President Trump won Seminole County by thousands of votes. And it's always been historically red. It has never gone blue. The state of Florida only went blue is just for President Obama in 2008 and 2012. So that's how critical these races are and the down ballot candidates are. Because we're driving at a local level to make sure that the people's voice are heard and that the will is done throughout the state of Florida.
All right. So tell people how they can help your campaign.
Definitely. So you can help my campaign. Definitely, we would love for you to phone bank. You can also donate or volunteer. We always need help doing those type of things. And we can do those virtually. So wherever you're listening from, we would like you to participate in our virtual phone bank. And if you do have the means to volunteer, to donate, please do. You can donate at pashabaker.com. You can find me on Act Blue as well. Pasha, Pasha, Baker, Baker. And you can also follow me on social media and just to show support. You know, that's one of the ways and free ways, just being kind, just showing support. We always appreciate that. And in this last 18 days to go, just keep praying and keep supporting us and going after this and encouraging us for having the strength to go after this, because this is a great wall. We're breaking down crashing a lot of ceilings here. So just the support. We appreciate the support and love that you all give. And thank you to Kelly for doing a podcast like this, because the support means a lot to us.
Yeah, of course. Well, it is a pleasure to speak with you, and I will be sure to put your information on our website so listeners can find that and click through and volunteer and donate.
Thank you so much, Kelly. You be blessed and have a blessed weekend and stay safe.
Thank you for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics, part of the Dimcast Podcast Network. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? Off of the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Immunuri, and we're using it with permission of the band. Our logo and other original artwork is by Matthew Weflin and was created for use by this podcast. You can contact us at twobroadstalkingpolitics@gmail.com or on Twitter or Facebook at twobroadstalk. You can find all of our episodes at twobroadstalkingpolitics.com or anywhere podcasts are found.